I'm Jay, and this is going to be a live sculpting demo. Well, I mean, kind of live. Like, I mean, not really live, but like, this is a real-time sculpting demo. A lot of the questions and feedback I get from some tutorial videos and time lapses that I make is that they're way too fast, which, you know, is the nature of a time lapse. I thought it'd be beneficial to some people to just see what sculpting is like, for me anyway, in a real-time setting. I encourage you to follow along, sculpt your own thing, or just sit back and relax. You know, I don't know. I can tell you what to do whatever you want, man. I don't know. Why are you asking me? The subject of the video is going to be an ear. I chose an ear because it's something I figure I can get pretty far in an hour with, and it's human, but it's also complex. And I think that's kind of an important combination of things. So if you're starting out in sculpting and you want to get your practice in, I encourage you to try doing an ear. I put a little link to my Pinterest board where I collected some ear reference, all of which I'll be using, or some of which. Any reference I use is from that board. The fact that it's human means that we're going to be able to pick up on things innately if they feel wrong, if they look wrong, just because we're human. So we get a kind of margin of error there that gets us closer to something that's accurate. But also, everyone has different ears. Ears can be very wide ranging, so you have some wiggle room there. And you can practice skin treatments. You can practice all different kinds of human skin things. And also, it's a pretty complex shape. So in terms of translating something from 2D, your reference images, to 3D, or just getting used to Zbrush, the tools, the brushes, and making a shape that isn't so simple, I feel like it's the perfect subject for a demonstration and for practicing sculpting. Yeah, hopefully you enjoy, learn a thing or two. Let's jump in and start sculpting. It's not professional. Okay. All right. Whoa. Okay, no, not really. Excuse me while I put on my Princess Leia's. Alright, so this is how Zbrush will open up. We'll just hide that. And we're going to start with a cube, which we're going to pull the ear out of. And in the end, I'm going to delete all the sides, so it just is a ear on a plane, just because I think that makes a nice presentation. And if you're thinking, hey, why don't you just use a plane then? Well, Dynamesh doesn't like planes. It likes to enclose its volumes. Like, it likes to enclose volumes. So if you had a plane, it wouldn't work. Just trust me. So we're gonna do a cube, and then at the end I'll make it a plane. Alright, so now if we try sculpting on this now, you'll see it says I gotta make it a polymesh, because right now it's a primitive, whatever that means. So you just click this button over here, make polymesh. Then in the palette, we'll switch over to it, which is identical, but now we can sculpt on it. So this is what we're gonna make. We'll keep it in orthographic for now. Let's start I'm gonna turn on polyframe just to see what's happening here. Make sure I get this Dynamesh going. I'm gonna leave project on. That'll keep my details as I work up. I'm gonna turn blur off. And right now we're gonna find a resolution that we like. Oops, so 128 is pretty good. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. It might even be too much, so we'll see. So first we're gonna mask out our shape. Turn off this polyframe. And if I hold Control, I can mask. So instead of just making an ear shape, right, and then extruding that out, I'm gonna extrude out the mask that the ear attaches to. It doesn't just come out full ear, you know. There's something that's kind of a semi-circle canal that protrudes out, and then the cup is on top of that. So there's like a bridge in between. Something like this. I don't like it right there. Let's get it like this. Okay. Now you'll notice too, your ear doesn't just come jutting out in the front, so it's kind of rotated like that. You know? Forgive me, I got a new silent keyboard, so I'm not tacking away, so gotta get used to this. Okay, now we can kind of extrude from this. I also like to turn this rotation axis on the Y only. It makes it more like a lazy Susan. It's just more natural for me. I know some people get used to the other thing, but in the beginning, no, it's important for me to take my time because I'm blocking in the shape and the size of everything. Like, if I do this right, my life is so much easier later if I take the time to block out the shapes right. Now with the inflate brush, I'm gonna inflate this back out. I'm gonna do that a lot. My Alt key and my Control key are backwards on this new keyboard. I use S to size the brush. You can get really, you know, you just get used to it. Like, it's just so much better than some people want to do like brackets like Photoshop because they're used to it, but S is awesome. It doesn't matter where you are. Just becomes natural after a while. I wish every program did that. You'll also notice I don't use hotkeys that much for brushes. I mean, like custom ones. I make them, but I just use all different kinds of ways to get my brushes. You can just set custom hotkeys. You can go in the menu by pressing B. If I want move, I press M, and then there it is, V. So like BST is standard, BMV is move. I do that. I'll put my favorite ones down here in the bottom, and I choose them from there. Whatever floats your boat. And you can see what brush I'm using down there. Down there, below my head. Okay, so we're already getting like a mass. Not bad. Dynamesh. I'm gonna have to look over at my keyboard pretty often, pretty frequently, because so clay buildup is by far my favorite brush to block in forms. If I want, you know, I can control it. At least I feel like I can control it. Wow, I just pressed Alt correctly for the first time. First time tonight. Did not screw it up. Okay. It's coming. So, let me see. Is this far enough out? I don't think so. Oops. Wrong button again. Why is there a function button where control would be? Just thought I'd make it interesting, you know, mix it up. Just like try a new keyboard for the first time. Yep. Alright, let's get a couple more of the forms in here. So another thing I like to do is I've selected the damn standard now, which everyone knows is kind of the best way to make lines in ZBrush. But if you hold Alt like anything else, it'll do the opposite. So that means it brings it out. So I like to use that to define like peaks and corners, you know. So I'll demonstrate here. Like I want the form to turn at this point. Then I know if I make it very big, you'll see the result here. Like I'm gonna bring this out, kind of block that shape in, and I know that it makes like a Y here. I'll push this down. So right now it's almost like I'm note taking. I'm laying out where things are gonna be. I'll need to really get under there later, but for right now I can just bring out this peak here. It's here, and then the edge of the face too is where this comes out kind of far. Still, this has all been damn standard so far here. Oh, I'll choose my inflate. Oh, I didn't put inflate down there. But now if I hold Alt with inflate, then I'm pushing it in. So thereby creating these interior walls that I need. This is gonna looking earish, huh? I think so anyway. You see how I'm keeping it very low, like a sketch. Just no big commitment, just chilling, just, you know, blocking in the big important things. If you can make it look like an ear at this resolution, then it should be easy to divide up, add more and more details. I think it's time to refine the shape too. I think it's a little awkward on the bottom. Gonna keep inflating these. Like the ear cup goes pretty deep, especially in here. Moving my camera a lot. Get different angles, make sure my brush is going where I want it to. Make sure the form is going where I want it to. Don't spend too much time in one angle, because then you're likely to turn the camera and go, ah, crap. Okay, now I need this to flatten out. There we go. Like that. Damn standard. Might be worth mentioning, especially to beginners, this brush menu can seem very overwhelming. But you can do almost everything with a clay brush. I like clay tubes, or clay buildup. What is it? BCB clay buildup. A clay brush, the move brush, maybe the most important. Damn standard. Inflate standard, and then with a trim dynamic, something like that. BTD, trim dynamic over here, which is kind of like H polish. Those things give you this kind of planar, you know, flattening things, which you might need to do sometimes. But with just those like 4 brushes, you can do almost everything. All these other things are just special cases. There's a bunch of these I don't ever use. I downloaded some of these that are just for one-time use, so your brush palette won't look like this. But yeah, that's been useful to some other students and people that are getting into it, that not sure what brushes to use, which are important, and the fewer the better, I think. I'm not gonna get used to this keyboard right now. Even with the move brush, I use Alt, which I just did. Some people don't think about that for a while, but you use Alt with everything. I just naturally do it with almost every brush. Experiment, at least try it out, see what happens. You might find some effect that you like, that you wouldn't have found otherwise. All right, next important lesson, saving. There we go. We're gonna need to save quite a bit, so better to get that started right away so you can start overwriting those files. Squinting, checking my shapes. All right, another one of my favorite brushes, Form Soft. Don't know why, but I like it. I pretty much use Form Soft instead of Standard. It's my thumb. It's what I use to push things in and just out softly. That's why it's down here in the panel, because it's one of my favorites. I think it's gonna be time to go up in resolution soon. Looking earish. Whoa. Up the resolution, see what we can do. Still not super stoked with this. Oh, here we go. Inflate this around the tip of the lobe. Alright, I think it's time to go up. Let's save. You always save before you do stuff that could blow up, like Dynamesh. I think it's Dynamesh a little bit more. Try 256. Doesn't have to be power of 4. It's creating triangles anyway, but It's also based on scale, Dynamesh resolution. So if you start with a cube like me, these numbers will be the same. If you start with a model from Maya or Max or another something, those numbers will be different. Dynamesh is based on scale. Or Dynamesh comes in one scale, whereas objects don't, so it's not relative. So that's why you get a big slider of numbers. So just eyeball it. You don't want to go too high in the beginning. Okay, we're gonna have to start digging that in now. What if we? I'm gonna mask, and I'm just gonna drag that stuff in there so that I can really get that underhang. Paint a mask, I'm inverting it. And the move brush, I'll just start tucking that in. While I got it masked, I might as well deflate, I guess, by using Alt. Push this cup in. Same with this. So this gets really concaved. So this is what I meant about complex. Kind of, easy to not go deep on some of these forms, you know? You want to hesitate, but really pronounced some of this. You can just always knock it back later. But don't be timid with any kind of sculpt that you do. Like, really get those forms pushed out. Exaggerate. Time to get rid of this red wax. Unlike red wax, the basic material actually acknowledges light information. For those that don't know, everything up in MatCap is all image-based materials. Down here under standard materials, these behave with the lighting right here. You can change the spec properties. It's more like a standard kind of shader in other packages. And these backups up here are just kind of a 2D effect. And I don't like red wax, but I am in the habit of staying in red wax while I'm in that blockout stage, because it's about measurement at that point. Now that we're refining a little bit more, we'll go to the basic material, just kind of like the Lambert, and then I'm rotating my lighting to match some of my reference so that I can better see the form. Forgive me if I speak slowly and dreamy. I'm kind of getting the zone and focusing on a lot of things, so try to make a note when I can. Weird. Ugh. Okay. Oh, keyboard. Now, because this is a flat plane, I get to do stuff like this. Where I hold shift and I snap to the side. I get to tuck things under like that. Time to run it. I guess I'm gonna refine this overall shape once again. Make some big movements here. That's not bad. Squinting again. Makes you look funny, but it's always been the best way for me to see. Big picture. Damn standard. I'm gonna have to refine that later anyway, so I'm not gonna spend too much time on that line. As I go up in Dynamesh, that'll get blurred out, and it's important for me that alt, doing the alt damn standard thing again. I don't like that warble here. I'll have it do its little turn right here at the peak. Maybe I should just bring everything out though. Also blurring sometimes, by the way. Should mention it. You'll see the brush in the bottom change to smooth. That's just by holding shift at any time. I don't even count that in the brushes. I'm so used to it, but an essential part of sculpting, for sure. You make marks like I just did, hold shift, run back over it. You do that to achieve certain effects. You know, you do things knowing that you're gonna blur it. Especially useful in Dynamesh because you'll see, as you already did, as I go up, it's projecting, which is what I wanted it to do, right? To keep what I did. So that'll be projecting even these artifacts I'm getting, the visible polys, because it's a lower resolution. So I'll go back and I'll smooth those out. I'd rather control my smoothing. That's why I like to project. I'd rather it smooth what I want rather than just overall uniformly smoothing. Because I'm a control freak. No, not really. No, I just, you know. Don't let people go smoothing your stuff however they want. Especially Zbrush. Just gotta tuck that back in. Alright. Inflate again. Might be worth noting, at least me, I have not used the standard brush this whole time. Even though it's called the standard brush. So, that doesn't mean that that's like the brush. I usually use the standard brush just for alphas and
kind of fun stuff. I guess you could say it is like the vanilla brush. I don't know. Things look lumpy with it. See how this form isn't just these smooth tube. There's like, I'm gonna emphasize it right here with the trim dynamic, but you see like there's a turn right here. Kind of a same thing with this bowl. Getting those peaks. This is more rounded. Tap, tap, taparoo. Time to look at the reference. Let's see, how does this go? It's kind of smooth. Holding Alt. This needs to go in there. Okay. Not coming out enough. This needs to really come out right there. This goes in. You should kind of see it actually. Like this kind of turns right here. Kind of swoops down, turns. See the different parts right here. Damn standard edge in here to inflate because it's all smooth in there. See, now that I have this edge, if I negatively inflate, I'm kind of pushing those two sides away from each other, so I get a better sunken in corner. And these little things you just pick up by sculpting stuff. You know, we all, I mean, digital sculpting is kind of two separate exercises you're doing mentally. One is thinking about form. Imagine you're just sculpting with your mind. The computer does whatever you want. You have that. You're like, how to sculpt, where to hard and soft edges, what shapes are doing, what you want them to do. So you have what you want to do, and you exercise that muscle to get more clear. And then on the other hand, you have the software. So learning how to get the software to do what you want. And it's the blend of those two exercises. So the more you sculpt, the more you don't have to worry about how to do what you want. And the more you worry about what you want to do. negative inflate again. Not sure if I like that though. Maybe a little bit rather than a lot. The ear hole here. Save. Use one of those specialty brushes we mentioned about earlier. I'm gonna pinch right over here, BPI. See, like, because I want the outer edge thinner, and I want this one wider. So by pinching on the corner, that's what I get. See what I mean? So I knew what I wanted. Then it was about getting that, and the pinch brush came to mind. That's what we're using. And you can pinch, look, I can pinch like that. It's a way to kind of rebalance stuff. Oops, keyboard error again. I'm gonna do that a lot. But no worries. So I want this chunk to kind of, I want this to go in like that, but you can see this form here is flattened out. Don't like that. Gonna inflate back and try to get this peak. Time to inflate this ridge here, and then this goes down kind of. Like that. And this, the lobe kind of, I'm gonna exaggerate here, but it kind of does this. Doesn't poof out the whole way, it poofs out at the bottom. It's kind of a bowl here. Damn standard, then smooth. Let's tuck this up. getting a little bit bored. I want to divide. So I think that's what we're going to do. Still kind of want my ear to like... Oh, that feels better, isn't it? Just me? Kind of like that more like... I like that. Save this and let's go up. Let's go up a bit. Let's go to like... That's fine. See, did I crash it? Projection. So let's get in dense now. When you're just doing studies, you could keep them in Dynamesh. And that's it, you're just practicing your sculpting. We're gonna be able to get pretty far in this next division if it doesn't crash. And then we could try to Z-remesh, see what kind of mesh we get. With these kind of shapes overlapping and being very close to each other, you're likely to get some weird stuff. And then it would just be about spending the time to go back over. Yeah, so this is really dense now. So I'm just gonna I'm just lightly smooth. Some areas very heavily smooth. This is all pressure sensitive still, so I can just kind of smooth that out. It's just like hitting it with some smooth. Oh, nice and smooth. Alright, it looks pretty ear-like. We could just refine these forms. Want the lobe to be very smooth. Straighten this warble out. Mostly that's what I'm seeing is these warbles. Spend time cleaning these up. Pinch brush we used earlier. See if we can get like a nice edge here. Can fix some of this warbling by just pinching and not keeping it. By utilizing the pressure, going back over certain areas. Standard time, I'm gonna go pretty deep here. So you want that very harsh edge and then it blends out. And it's okay to like break the line, you see? Because it's organic. So we could like, whoop. See, I'm not connecting them fully. kind of breaking that edge up a little bit in the shadow. I don't want it to look warbly, I just want it to look a little bit more natural. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Smooth brush. I think this needs to inflate, and then this needs to deflate. It's looking all right. Now, even at this high resolution, see, I've got clay buildup now. I can try to come in and refine this shape. I'm gonna really carve in like a ramp here, you know, so it scoops up. And this is why I use clay buildup, because I can really like be specific with how I want a form to build up or turn. And this is one of those examples again there I'm gonna smooth this out for the final effect. You see it looks super messy here, but trust me, I know what I'm doing. I'm a professional. Look it up in the book. That Larry King quote probably does not. Nobody knows what I'm talking about. Okay. Scoop this guy in there too. And then like that, a little bit. Boop, 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 boop. Alright, start smoothing a bit. Big damn standard again. Whoop. Let's get that tucked away in there. Same here. Do some move brush sculpting on things like that, where you know you want to tuck, you want to kind of see this warbly line. You can fix a lot of that just with the move brush. Okay, it's a bit more refined now. This has kind of a peak. Same with this. And this whole thing. Let's make this more tubular. I think I want this to extrude out more than it is. Feels like it's getting thin here, so I'll make a mask, I'll blur it, and then I'll just scoot all that stuff back. Okay. I'll control tap, start smoothing it. No, I don't want any of this stuff, so. Okay. Move brush. Let's get that stuff back there. See what I'm talking about. We'll make this cartilage a little bit extrude more than just bring the inside of the bowl up with it. Clay build up. Let's carve out this scoop. You see too, this shape is still contributing. It's kind of blending out and spilling out. Leaving like wrap. You see, this is how I'm making rounded forms. I'm just going across the form with pressure. It's kind of making a tube cylinder. So I'm building up tubes and reverse tubes that way. Then with the smooth brush, kind of very lightly, I can okay, we're about done. Looks earish to me. Alright. And we could take this further. We could Z-remesher and then refine it even more. But for a study, for practicing, this is good enough. If it were a final asset, that's what I would do. So essentially this would have been the beginning phase. And then we could do stuff like wrinkles and stuff. We can play around and put some texture on here anyway, just for fun. Even though it's Dynamesh, that doesn't mean you can't refine that stuff if you want. Let's see here. Kind of still like with the damp standard, you could like outline the transition point. Blend it out still, you know, with something like H polish. You could no, it doesn't look like we can smooth that much. I'm holding Alt right there, even with the H polish. Holding Alt kind of brings up the planes. Smoothing out these transitions, make them look a little bit more natural. Hit P for perspective. It's much more natural way to look at things. That's how we look at everything. Which I could have done a long time ago for sure. No reason not to. Let me get this pinch brush to try to like emphasize some of these shapes here. There we go. You can make big changes with the pinch brush. So I can like emphasize that corner. So you have to undo sometimes. The damn standard will like go off a weird normal, and that's okay. Just undo until you get the stroke the way you want it.
That's right, nigga. Set that shit.
So now if I store a morph target, I can start, let's turn down the Z intensity. We could just start doing wrinkles if we wanted it to be kind of a older person. Trying to find places to it's really like these transition parts. The ear doesn't move around that much, so it wouldn't have that many wrinkles, but big ones anyway. But still, you can just kind of do this sort of thing, some skin going. Then we can for the first time use standard. We'll grab this alpha, turn off lazy mouse and relative, because you know we ain't crazy, man. And then just get some wrinkles going this way. And if we let's get this real soft. If we crisscross those, kind of get a skin feel. Tap, I'm holding shift and I'm just tapping it. I'll blur this out a little bit. You can see that we're not at a high enough resolution to do some of this micro stuff. That's what we would do after Z remesher, but I just wanted to put a little bit of texture on it so that it doesn't look super bland. And we'll put some skin bumps on it. Same way. We'll just pick this alpha, I guess. So we can just yeah, I like the way this looks, so we'll delete the morph target and store another one. Then we'll make this kind of like goosebumps kind of thing. Alright. Then we'll also hold Alt and we'll make skin pores. I know this looks crazy, right? You're like, this doesn't look like skin. Yeah, but watch. If I hit switch, now we just went back to the morph target I stored, which doesn't have that. Now with the morph brush, I can very lightly start adding that back. Very light. I can control now. I can paint in and out what I just did. So I kind of laid out what I want or where, and now I'm just like guiding it, like the strength. So there we go. There's our ear demo. Let's do a quick shadow here. 50. Now we'll so now we can start hiding the other parts, like I mentioned at the beginning. Go over to geometry. Modify, delete hidden. Now we've just deleted the hidden. Now if I use my slice curve, I can make new polygroups that are perfectly straight. Oop, get a little lost here. And you don't need to do this. It's just for like a dorky presentation, but there you go. So that's it for the live sculpting demo. It's about an hour. I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for sticking around and hanging out. Hope you learned a thing or two. And you know, if you're interested in sculpting, do things like this. Make an ear. Took me an hour. It'll take you longer, and it'll look weird for a while. There's plenty of things I'm not happy with this. And I could spend literally like 2 or 3 more hours eventually taking the Z-remesher divisions, making it super crisp, making the skin treatment look really realistic if I wanted to. And that's the kind of stuff I like doing. But this is a good way to practice and get used to the tools, get used to the camera. So brushes, camera work, where to go, it becomes second nature. That way you can focus on the thing that you're doing. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. I'm nearing 5,000 subscribers, which is pretty crazy. That's a crazy number, and I'm really proud that I feel like we're building a positive, supportive community of people that are interested in learning these new art forms. I mean, newish. And I think it's great that people are interested in digital sculpting, and I get questions almost on a daily basis. I try to respond to as many as I can. So thank you guys for subscribing, sticking around, being engaged. And I'm trying to plan something special for the 5,000 sub milestone. I know one thing I can definitely do is do a video on my UI. People ask me about that. I can show you how to make your own UI, why I made mine the way I did, and allow you to download it, install it if you want one like mine, especially if you have a Cintiq 22HD like I do. It'll fit right in. But yeah, when I do hit 5K, I'll make a video and then I'll ask you guys what you think, what you want. I want to make videos that you guys want to watch. That's what this is all about. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, click that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. And until next time, peace!